The US CPI data hit today and it actually came in quite bullish, being a point below expectations. However, we're not out of the woods yet. Today, price action has taken place, of course, and when that news broke, we got all of this spikiness, and then the price generally started to head to the upside. After having done all of that upside moves throughout the day, we have since lost this level of support here on Ethereum at $2,840. And if I go over to the price of Bitcoin again, you can see that Bitcoin has actually suffered today after the CPI news hit. You can see it made it spike up all the way up here at 110,000. Right now, it's back down at 108. The question remains, are we going to come back down here and retest the outside of this bull flag around these levels here around $106,000, or are we just going to continue plodding on up to the upside? Now, if we were to look at the liquidation heat map right now, and I'll give that a refresh to make sure it's the most up-to-date it can possibly be, but basically we've got these two ranges of liquidity. We're trying to tap into this $106,000 range, because as soon as, $108,000 range, as soon as we're in that $108,000 range, you can see there's billions of dollars getting liquidated in this range here and below that. Both ranges are like magnets right now. So we're encroaching on what is basically a narrowing range, which makes me mildly concerned about holding on to these trades overnight, because again, these things can just recover pretty quickly. If we look at the price of Bitcoin today and we look at it on the 5-minute chart, it doesn't take very long for it to reverse on you. So holding it overnight doesn't seem like the best idea. We've had a lot of upwards and downwards movements, and if we encounter one of these, something like that, from 108,000 up to 110 again, that only takes about 25-30 minutes for something like that to happen, and before you know it, you've blown all of your account again. You've got to be very careful when trading these markets, and I am being as careful as I possibly can be, but we have had some pretty decent gains today. The reason I'm short on ETH is because of this. The ETH chart is completely different than the Bitcoin chart. If you look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin is down in its range at the moment, whereas Ethereum is very high in its range. If Bitcoin is to start heading lower and starts breaking down to like $106,000, you can guarantee that ETH is going to come back down to the bottom of this range again, and that would mean $2,400, give or take a little bit. Now, if we were to have this trade that I've got open here, have that, I'm holding out in the hope that maybe that just happens, because this is quite a large trade, and if we were to have a gap of something like that, I reckon I'd make like $200,000. It'd be a very, very nice trade with that. I can't see it panning out. I do have the trade also open on my phone, just next to this phone that you're watching off of right now. Anyway, that's where we're at with the trading. I still maintain my short positions, and I'm pretty optimistic that I am actually quite right here. I think the market is cooked. I mean, I put out a tweet today. I don't know if you can see it. Probably can do if I scroll down on here. Euphoria. Are we euphoric right now? Do you feel euphoric about crypto right now? I feel like a lot of the market kind of looks euphoric. And also, being profitable starts with taking profit. You can't be profitable in this industry if you refuse to take profit when you've got it. And just reminding people of that watch the channel, like, you will have something in your portfolio today that is up 20 or 30%. Sell it. Buy it back in a few days' time. If it continues to go, it's fine. It'll come back down eventually and you'll be able to buy back in. You should always sell when you've got profit. And if there's something that I should know by now, it's taking profit is how you pay bills. So do it. Take some sodding profit. The president says that the trade deal with China will soon be finalized, so that's pretty good news. To be honest, I think it's pretty much done. Trump just said, I guess I could reconcile with Elon Musk, and of course, Japanese public company Rexon Point announces it bought 50 Bitcoin. Now, I look at all these kinds of news and I think the Trump Elon stuff, them reconciling, that's bullish news. Nobody wants to have no harmony at the top of government. That doesn't make any sense. When it comes to the Japanese company buying Bitcoin, I have a very strong opinion on these stock market businesses that suddenly think that buying some Bitcoin will pump up the value of their company, because they're 100% correct. These companies are doing it to inflate the value of their stock without adding any core value to their company, which is why you end up with, every time one of these announcements happen, the price goes back up, and then people that hold a lot of it sell. These announcements are nothing more than announcements to drum up interest in a stock. Don't be tempted into buying something just because somebody's bought some Bitcoin. It makes absolutely no sense. It's a stupid reason to buy anything. Buying Bitcoin doesn't make anything inherently more valuable or useful. The other thing to point out would be today, the FOMC actually updated their website to remove any chance of a rate reduction at the next meeting. They actually added a 0.2% chance of a rate increase at the next meeting, meaning that there will be no rate reduction on the 18th of June, despite what Trump says, despite what Twitter says, despite what everyone seems to be saying at the moment about there being a rate reduction in June. And that's one of the reasons why I think holding a short position right now might be advantageous. There is a lot of people really expecting this rate. I don't know why. I apologize for not being in focus either, but I don't know why all these people expect there'll be a rate reduction at the next meeting in how many days now? It's not that long, is it? It's 6 days, 22 hours. Really not a long time until the next meeting next week on Wednesday. When this takes place, though, it's just not going to happen the way that people think it's going to happen. And that could really tank the markets if the genuine expectation of the crypto market and the stock market is that there is a rate reduction, because there's not going to be one. In other news, Bitcoin's heading to the downside. What are the levels of which you should be watching right now on the price of Bitcoin? Well, you've got your lower level, pretty simple. We break below here, we go all the way down to here, around $106,000. And again, to the upside, we've formed a pretty solid layer, to be honest, up here. And I would say a break of around 110 again would yield further upside for Bitcoin. This is the trading range that Bitcoin is in right now. If we look at Ethereum, Ethereum's a little different because Ethereum tapped the top of the range today, which is why I took that short position, because I believe that any first breakout of something like this naturally will come back down. Even if it's only short term going to come back down, it'll still come back down, and it has come back down for now. The question remains now, how much lower will it go in this range, and can it retest the bottom of the range? Well, I'm hopeful. It'd be really, really nice for me if these things paid off, because that'd be a hefty chunk of change. And when it comes to Solana, I think that a Solana short position right now is I'm not in one. Having said that, in the past 10 minutes, it has come down quite aggressively again. But like 170 on Solana, we're retesting this range here on the 10 minute with the moving averages. We break below this moving average on the 10 minute. We'll just keep heading to the downside. When you have downside in crypto these days, because everyone is just such a blind bull, you should look at the comment section, to be honest, if you want to go gauge on the market. Everyone is a complete blind bull. Every time I say something negative about crypto, people take it like personally. I don't need to take it personally. I'm saying it because I care. I want the industry to be as good as possible. But naturally, there are many flaws in this industry, and a lot of people are blindly ignoring those flaws, such as the fact that no altcoin project has ever sustained itself for any long period of time in a profitable manner. Not for just the holders of the coin, but the actual profitability of any altcoin company. Not one has ever operated in a profit without selling their own coin. If you include raising money and selling your coin, sure, millions of them have, but that's not a business, selling some random coin to people that you don't know on the internet. I suppose it is in a way. Either way, not very many bullish use cases. In terms of Solana, we look like we're going to break back into this range. I'd be tempted to say a short position down to here, somewhere along this line, maybe around 156 would be a pretty good position to get into. But overall, definitely shorts over longs right now in the market. How's the stock market looking again? Stock market took a bit of a tumble today. If we look at the chart, CPI data comes out, prices start pumping, and then since then it starts dumping. And that's kind of what I expected for the day. If we look back at my tweet that I made earlier today about CPI data coming out, it's a bit of a while ago, there we go. Breaking US CPI data, 2.4%, expectations 2.5%. Look, it's barely even any different. What is CPI? It's Consumer Price Index? Inflation? I don't know. I should know that. Either way, it's a measure of inflation, and it came in below expectations. But it's important to point out how that measure is made up, because the bulk of the weighting of the measure is not towards household items, it's towards the general of everything. And actually within that budget, I actually replied to a Kyle Shess tweet today. In fact, I should bring that up because Kyle made a really interesting point. Just give me a second here, and let's just scroll through all of my replies on Twitter in order to find this particular tweet. Let's find Kyle's tweet because it was actually quite good. There we go. So Kyle today said May CPI 2.4%, but utility and gas is up, if I just zoom in, 15.3, car insurance is up 7, meat and eggs is up 6, car repair is up 5, electricity is up 4, home ownership is up 4, rent's up 3, eating out's up 3, and hospital services are up 3. That's actually rounding terribly as well. But basically, when this is the real data, versus what is then reported. Is this really bullish? And the answer to that is no. Like, consumers can't continue to pay more for their goods and services than what they normally would do. That's just ridiculous. Without any kind of wage inflation. And the problem that you've got in the economy at the moment is wages are not rising at the same pace as inflation still. But this is years of compound wages being lower than inflation. And when that situation is compounded, everyone gets gradually poorer. So even if you increase the cash in society, and that then pushes up inflation more, like Trump's big, beautiful bill wants to, that doesn't increase wages. There's no part of this equation which increases wages. And especially not with the Labour plans that he's got, that actually is a plan to decrease wages and increase manufacturing jobs. So I don't understand the overall plan from Trump here, if I'm honest, and that doesn't make me feel bullish on the market on the general overall trend. I feel like prices are generally high. I feel like we're generally just wandering into a like lemmings off a cliff kind of situation, and well, we'll see how it pans out. I might be entirely wrong. I hope I'm wrong, because we'll all make a lot more money. But if I'm right, we'll be good here on the channel. We make a lot of money on the downside. Downside doesn't just happen overnight. Things do take time to play out. But overall, maintain the same stance as always, as recently. And we'll see how it pans out. If we're right about this, though, there'll be some nice pennies in it for us, and that'll be great. But we'll see. I can't be 100% certain about it. Naturally, I'm going to cop a lot of hate in the comments section. So if you wouldn't mind, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. This is TMG Trades. This is the second channel. Many of you probably don't realize that you're not already subscribed to it. So do subscribe, drop a like, and I'll see you in the next one. This is